covering the associations between the Yetzias Mitzrayim and Pesach and the impact of each on the other. Kıymey says from מארץ Mitzrayim and Neflois, it says in the Navi Micha that like your days going out of the land of Mitzrayim, I will show you wonders when Mashiach comes. It's known what the Zohar says about this. Also brought down from Amorim V'Arabeim, the Mashem Kosov, Kıymey Lashon Rabim. What does it mean? Why does it say like the days in the plural? Going out of Mitzrayim was in one day. They went out on the 15th of Nisan. And not only that, we find when we have to remember going out of Mitzrayim, it also says one day. Also, in remembering going out of Mitzrayim, it says, remember this day that you went out of Mitzrayim. Also, it says, you should remember the day in singular of you going out of the land of Mitzrayim. So if in those psukim it calls the going out of Mitzrayim in the singular as one day, so why when it speaks about that when Mashiach comes, the wonders of Mashiach's times will be like the days in the plural of going out of Mitzrayim? Why does it say Kıymey in the plural? Also, we have to understand the meaning of what it says over here. That like your days going out of the land of Mitzrayim, I will show you wonders. The Pirish HaPoshet was the simple meaning. What is the pasuk trying to say in the simple sense? The simple meaning is trying to tell you that the Shagula Sido Lavi B'mheri Mamish Aydem Mashiach Tzidkenu, the future redemption that's going to come speedily in our days, Mamish through Mashiach. It will be in the manner of I will show you wonders like it was the redemption for Yetzias Mitzrayim. That's what the Navi is telling us. The Navi is telling us you should know as unbelievable and as miraculous what took place when the Yidden went out of Mitzrayim then. That's how unbelievable, that's the type of wonders and miracles we're going to experience also when we go out of Mitzrayim. Ain't move on, but what's not understood about that simple meaning of the pasuk, it's explained in many different psukim and different Amar Chazal. Specifically, and only the future redemption will be a complete redemption that has no golas following it. As opposed to the going out of Mitzrayim. What we see from this is the future redemption will be much higher and much greater than the redemption from going out of Mitzrayim. And to such a degree will it be so great that there won't be any need even to mention Yetzias Mitzrayim. According to one opinion, there is no more an obligation to mention anything about Yetzias Mitzrayim. That's why we're going to mention this a little bit later also. The reason why Parshas Vayomer is added to Krishma because Parshas Vayomer speaks about going out of Mitzrayim. And since we have an obligation to mention Yetzias Mitzrayim all the time, so we added Vayomer to Krishma. But when Mashiach comes, according to one opinion, Yetzias Mitzrayim, what significance will that have? The goal of Mashiach is so much greater. According to that opinion, no, we're not going to mention Yetzias Mitzrayim anymore once Mashiach comes. Now, the question about the greatness of the future redemption is not only according to the opinion that we won't mention it, also according to the opinion that we will mention Yetzias Mitzrayim in the times of Mashiach's coming, like we have in the Haggadah. He says, we learn out from the Psukim, the Haggadah says that even when Mashiach comes, we will also mention Yetzias Mitzrayim. Still in all, even though we will still mention it, first of all, they need to have a special pasuk which they derive it from. Like we say in the Haggadah over there, that because it says an extra word, so and so, kol yimei chayecha, so we learn out from that limois HaMashiach that even when Mashiach comes, we'll mention. Which means, why do you need to have an extra pasuk? Because you would think that normally there would be no significance and no reason to mention. And still in all, we have to mention. Therefore, if we say that the future redemption is so much greater than Yetzias Mitzrayim, so why does the Navi compare it? Why does he say, like your days going out of the land of Mitzrayim, I will show you wonders? The advantage and the quality of the future redemption will be that also then I will show you wonders like it was when the Yidden went out of Mitzrayim. If the wonders of Mashiach's times is so much greater, so how do you compare? He say them is even more so. From the expression of the pasuk, like your days going out of the land of Mitzrayim, I will show you wonders. Mashma, it indicates that the wonders that were in the days you're going out of the land of Mitzrayim, they are the beginning and the root also, and even for the wonders that's going to be in the future redemption. So we know in Chassidus, anything that is the beginning of something has in it a greater power than the end of something. So the Rebbe concludes the Mizem movement this understood. That there's the advantage in the redemption from Mitzrayim over the future redemption. So the point over here, which the Rebbe is going to say, is going to be built upon these last few lines. That there is the beginning and there's the end. The beginning of the future redemption begins with Yetzias Mitzrayim, and then it concludes with Mashiach's times, and in some way the conclusion is powerful and unbelievable in comparison to Mashiach's times. I'm sorry, in comparison to Mitzrayim, but in addition, the beginning always has the energy that is there and potential for what will happen eventually later on. Always based. The point of explanation, this is the pasuk that Kimei says, in this very pasuk, like your days going out of the land of Mitzrayim, I will show you wonders. Yeshnei Pirushim, there are two explanations. Earlier, we only brought one of the explanations. Here he's going to bring both of them. Pirush Echad, one explanation is Shagula, Mitzrayim. The future redemption will be like the redemption of your going out of the land of Mitzrayim. Gam Oz, Aراנו, Neflאות, Mitzrayim. That also then, and even when Mashiach comes, there will be the wonders similar to the Gula of Yetzias Mitzrayim. Then there's another explanation which fits in with what we were talking about. That the Geula Shleima, Geula Sheinacharei Golas, a much higher level of Geula will be when Mashiach comes. Pirish Beis, the second explanation is the Geula Asida, that the wonders that will be in the future redemption, Niflois, will be wonders. They will even be considered wondrous in comparison to your days going out of the land of Mitzrayim. In other words, to put it in very simple terms, even a person that saw and witnessed and lived through all the wonders that happened by Yetzias Mitzrayim, whether it's Eser Makis, whether it's Vias Yamsuf, when he will experience the wonders of Mashiach's times, he'll still be blown away. He won't say, I saw stuff like this already in Mitzrayim. No, because it'll be so wondrous that even in comparison to what happened by the Geula of Mitzrayim, it will still be considered wondrous. Behind what this means, Agam Shebachlos HaNiflois the Geula Asida Him Doimis HaNiflois the Geula Mitzrayim Kepirush HaPashut. Though in general, the wonders of the future redemption are similar to the wonders of the Gula Mitzrayim, like the simple pshat, Apple became still in all. Yeah, Yisrael by Neflois still asid, there'll be an advantage and a quality in the future wonders. Until it will be wonders even over in comparison to the wonders of going on in Mitzrayim. So first the Rebbe is going to explain this in a Kabbalah terminology. What levels spiritually will we experience in the Geula, which makes it wondrous even over what happened in Mitzrayim. Though, even using this Kabbalah terminology, we see a certain commonality and a certain common denominator between going out of Mitzrayim and the future redemption. 4 lines in the bottom. Beer miles on the floors to lost law. Allah neflois the Yitzias Mitzrayim b'Lashon HaKabbalah, and explain the wonders and the quality of the wonders of Mashiach's time over the wonders of going out of Mitzrayim. In Kabbalah terminology, in Yedua, it's known Shebitzias Mitzrayim Hutzrach Lahoitzis Yisrael Mememtes Sha'arim Delumas. When the Yidden went out of Mitzrayim, we had to take out the Yidden out of 49 gates, meaning 49 levels of the other side. That's the reason why immediately after going out of Mitzrayim, it begins the days of the counting of the Oim. And every day of the days of Sfira, we leave one of the gates, one of the levels of the other side. What empowered us to do that? Is this leaving behind the gates of the other side. This was through the drawing down of Chamishim Shari Bina, the 50 gates of Spheres of Bina, the 50 levels of Bina. And because it drew down 50 levels of Bina to counteract the 49 levels of Tumah, therefore, in Torah it was mentioned Yitzias Mitzrayim 50 times. Throughout the Torah, Yitzias Mitzrayim is mentioned 50 times, Keneged Nun Shari Bina, corresponding to the 50 gates of Bina that enabled the going out of Mitzrayim. In Yadua, it's known Nun Shari Bina Yesh Kama Dargis. These 50 gates of Bina, there are many levels. And that will explain the difference between the Geula from Mitzrayim's experience of the 50 gates of Bina versus the 50 gates of Bina, which will be in the ultimate way when Mashiach comes. By the way, Nifla'os, in other Mamorim, I don't believe he says it here in this Maimer, Nifla'os is from the word, can be divided as Nun, 50 pla'os wonders. In other words, the wonders are derived from and a result of the 50 gates of Bina. So he says in the second line, Nun Shari Bina Moishnim Shachim B'Malchus. There is the 50 gates of Bina, the way they come down into the lowest sphere of Malchus. It acts as a filter, the Yovel of Bina Nimshachim B'Malchus, from the side of the Yovel. Yovel is the Jubilee, the number 50, which is associated with Bina, because there's the 50 levels in Bina. It comes down in Malchus. Because it comes down in Malchus, that's why many of the things associated with Yitzias Mitzrayim has to do with Malchus. It says, Nigla le'em melech malchei amloch makadosh baruch hu ga'olam, because it's the way the 50 gates of Bina comes through spheres of Malchus. It says that the level of Kriyas Yamsuf, the level of Yam, indicates the level of Malchus as well. Has to do with the sphere of Malchus. So it's the 50 gates, but the way they come through the filter of Bina. Another level of 50 gates of Bina, even higher. The 50 gates of Bina, the way they are in their place in Bina. And even higher, the way the 50 gates are part of the highest of those gates. The 50th gate itself, which the 50th gate itself is higher than Bina itself. The B'chinas HaKeser, it's the level of the Keser that's higher than Atzilus, so B'Keser Gufa B'chinas Atik, and in Keser, it's the level of Atik, the inner level of Keser. So now he goes on and connects this to what we were talking about now, about the difference, according to Kabbalah, between what happened during going out of Mitzrayim and what will happen when Mashiach comes. The loss of love of you, Neflois, Gamberach, and Neflois, the Yitzias Mitzrayim. That's why the revelations of the future time of Mashiach's time will be even wondrous in comparison to the wonders of going out of Mitzrayim. The 50 gates of Bina that came down when the Yidden went out of Mitzrayim are the gates of Bina itself. And this itself, it's the way the way the 50 gates of Bina come down through the level of Malchus. Loss of love as opposed to when Mashiach comes. There'll be the drawing down of the 50 gates of Bina the way they are in Kesser. In Kesser itself would be a drawing down from the level of Atik. Atik Gufa and Atik itself, Atik, which we know is the revelation that's always brought down throughout Chassidus and Kabbalah, that the revelation of godliness in Mashiach's times will be that level. It's connected by Hashem's very essence, otherwise spoken about as Pnimius Atik. Because of a Mashiach, like it says about the description about Mashiach, which is also in the Haftorah, that we say on Achrishal Pesach, in a Yaskel Abdi Yodrum Benisa Ma'od, my servant, I mean Mashiach will be successful, he will be exalted and raised up and very high. The Ma'od said the Chsiv by Mashiach, the Chsiv Gavan Mashiach, this word Ma'od, which is a superlative, which means that's very, very high. That says concerning Mashiach, who b'chinas pnimius Atik, it's going on the inner level of Atik. That's what the very of Ma'od comes to say. Ma'od Chassidus always associates it with the level of Bligvul, without boundaries, without limitations. In other words, the ultimate highest level will become revealed with and through Mashiach. Lashon Priyetz Chaim, like it's also in the expression of the Kabbalah Sefer known as Priyetz Chaim. The highest type of revelations that ever come down now are from the external level of Atik, which again, Atik is the inner part of Keser. Also, Mashiach comes will be the drawing down, the revelation of the inner level of Atik. El became still in all, despite the fact that when Mashiach comes, it will be the 50 gates, the way they are included in the most highest level of Pnimius Atik. And the Yitzias Mitzrayim, it was the 50 gates, the way they're coming down into Malchus. Still in all, Medama Kosovo Niflois Shiur Begula Sidol Niflois Yitzias Mitzrayim. The pasuk still compares the wonders that will be in the future redemption to the wonders that were in Mitzrayim. Pirish Hapashut, because of like the simple explanation, the pasuk Shebegula see the Aránu Neflאות K'moshahoyim b'Meitzes K'moshahoyim. Then the future redemption will be, I will show you wonders like the days of you going out Mitzrayim. How come? Why is there the comparison? Even when they went out of Mitzrayim, they were the most highest revelations. Before Behemshach Tafresh Ayin Beis, like it's also explained in the Hemshach Mamar from the year Tafresh Ayin Beis of the Rebbe Rashab. The Pirish and the explanation that the King of Kings Hashem revealed himself in his very own glory and essence. That this description he's shown the most highest levels. But even though it's the most highest levels, but it still went through the filter of Malchus, Melech Malcham El Shabi. Tzias Mitzrayim Hayagilu, the Pchinas Zoidei Slapshus, Pchinas Malchus. In the going, the revelation of Yitzias Mitzrayim, this was through becoming enclosed in the level of Malchus. Like we said, you could have the 50 gates of Bina, the way they come and filter through the level of Malchus. Like it says, Pasach Hashem ala Pesach, that Hashem passed over the entrance. The Pesach of Bechinas Malchus, the level of an entrance is Kabbalah Chassidus says it's referring to the sphere of Malchus, because like Malchus, like an entranceway to go from Bia up to Atzilus and to go from Atzilus down to Bia. So when it says Upasach Hashem ala Pesach, Hashem passed over the entranceway, that means he drew down a higher level into the entrance into Malchus, but which means that it still becomes filtered. Just to give an example to understand this in simple terms, when a person experiences something very deep and very essential to the person's being, they could give voice to it and they could express it, let's say, in speech. But it's understood that as great as the experience is, what's expressed in speech can never express the essential core of whatever was really experienced, because that's the manner of speech. Speech filters it through. When these 50 gates of Bina came down in Malchus by Yetzias Mitzrayim, as high as it was still filtered through Malchus. But when Mashiach comes, when Mashiach comes, it will be revealed the highest, most levels, without a filter, without any type of garment covering it over. Also, like it says concerning Mashiach's times, that your master will not hide himself anymore in a garment, he will be completely revealed. Okay. Up till now was the Kabbalah, the rest is more, like relatively avoided the thing. Based on this, when you understand if you made say Neflאות, what it says, like your days going out of the land of Mitzrayim, I will show you wonders. And Neflאות, the Gula, see the land of Mitzrayim. Why does the pasuk still liken the wonders of the future redemption to the wonders that were in the days of your going out of Mitzrayim, since they're two totally different levels? And move on, and it's even more not understood, even according to the opinion that says, or especially according to the opinion that says that we mentioned the going out of Mitzrayim. We will also mention that when Mashiach comes, the Lechorah, seemingly the question is on that opinion. Why do we mention it? Since the revelations of the future time of Mashiach time will be greater, much more than the revelations that were when we went out of Mitzrayim. Why will they mention the going out of Mitzrayim also then? Here you have 50 gates, but the 50 gates are the way they're filtered through Malchus. That's Yetzias Mitzrayim. There you have the essence of everything. Why, if you have the essence, are you going to mention something that's filtered, that's watered down, that's less? So the Rebbe explains, that's known explanation, which like it says in the Maimer of the Friedrich Rebbe, the Bekulas Mitzrayim, this Chadish Klolus in Agul. When there was the redemption from Mitzrayim, it came into being the general idea of redemption. Up till then, there was no concept of redemption. And the pipeline, the channel was open for all redemptions, of all the exiles that would follow the exile of Mitzrayim. Gam, including also Al Gula Asidah, the future redemption began and was opened up the possibility for it also with going out of Mitzrayim. Hagam Shatia Gula Nailis, though it will be a yoser, a greater type of redemption than the going out of Mitzrayim, still in all, going out of Mitzrayim opened up the pipeline for them. And the Rebbe gives another example of what the going out of Mitzrayim opened up a pipeline for, and by understanding the relationship with that, you understand the relationship with the future redemption. How you do similar to what is known. Yetzias Mitzrayim. The going out of Mitzrayim was preparation for Matan Torah. How do we know that was a preparation for Matan Torah? Like it says, Mitzrayim, that Moshe Rabbeinu was told when Hashem gave him the mission to take the Yid out of Mitzrayim. So Hashem told him over there by the burning bush, he said, when you'll take this nation out of Mitzrayim, you will serve Hashem by this mount. Meaning that Yitzias Mitzrayim, going out of Mitzrayim, was part of a continuum which continued and concluded in a certain way by Matan Torah. And we see though the main idea of redemption and freedom was during Matan Torah, specifically before Matan Torah, there was still the decree that those above should not descend below, and those below should not ascend above, like we know from the Chassidus. Moving, it's understood. Till the Torah was given. Even after the Yid went on Mitzrayim, was still not the true redemption, the freedom of those below, because they were cut off from above. When was the redemption completed? At least that stage, by Matan Torah. Yet, the apple became, despite that, already when the Eden went on Mitzrayim, before Matan Torah, they were empowered also for the redemption, the nullifying of the decree that occurred and happened by the giving of the Torah, that then this redemption caused this Bittul Zeda was the conclusion of going on Mitzrayim, but it began and was empowered from going on Mitzrayim. So just like the empowerment began with Yitzias Mitzrayim for the culmination of Matan Torah, so in a broader sense, so it's concerning the future redemption. In the redemption of the going out of Mitzrayim was also given the empowerment for the future redemption. The Rebbe says in Tanya that during the revelation, during Matan Torah, which we said is a continuation of the redemption of Mitzrayim, was very similar to the revelation of Mashiach's times of Hashem being revealed down here. That will take place when Mashiach comes. The only difference between Matan Torah and Mashiach's times is Matan Torah during Matan Torah the redemption, the revelation was only temporary. In the future time, the revelation will be in a constant and everlasting way. This revelation of Hashem down here below. Why will it be constant? Why will it be everlasting? Because the revelation when Mashiach comes, will not only be as a result of the revelation from above, because Hashem descended on Har Sinai. Mashiach comes, it will be a result of us down here below. The created beings will be then in the ultimate refinement, vazichuch, and purification, and clarity, and there will be vessels for the revelation of godliness, to comprehend the knowledge of their Creator as much as humanly possible. Then the world becomes a complete and perfect place for the resting and residing of the infinite light of Hashem that's beyond the power of a person. Therefore, it will remain forever. There won't be any obstacles to it going on forever. So now, based on this, that we just now said that the Geula from Mitzrayim is the beginning of the process, which will conclude with Mashiach's coming, we'll understand the first question we asked in the Maimer about using the plural days of your going on Mitzrayim. That's also why it says like your days going out of the land of Mitzrayim, days in the plural. The Chol Hayamim Megula Rishonim Gos Mitzrayim Adagula Sidum Heiru Menu Amen. All the days, beginning from the first redemption from the exile of Mitzrayim until the future redemption speedily in our days. Amen. And you made Seis Chomeres Mitzrayim. All of these days, the 3,000 plus years, every single day is our days going out of the land of Mitzrayim. Like explained over there in that Maimer, the Friedrich. This means the Mashavis Mitzrayim Niftatzin Gab Alagula. See the fact that when the Eden went out of Mitzrayim was opened up the pipeline also on the future redemption. Say there was who the order in this is. It's not just like, okay, there's the Gula from Mitzrayim, maybe it continues in Matan Torah, and then there's like a pause and a recess, and then it ends with the Gula Sida. No, every day is part of the process. Every single day, from the time of you going out of Mitzrayim until the future redemption, becomes the idea of you're going out of the land of Mitzrayim in a much higher way. Until the ultimate ascent that we said is going to be in the future redemption, that's going to be incomparable to anything that took place. And they're considered wonders in comparison to Mitzrayim. So he says, the idea behind this is, the Chazal said, in every single generation, we say in the Haggadah. And so too, the Alter Rebbe elaborates, every single day, Chayav, it's supposed to say over here, Chayav Adam, not Chayav, Chayav Adam lirs tzatzma ki'ilu yotzayim Mitzrayim. A person is obligated to see himself as if today he left Mitzrayim. What is the idea of imagining oneself going out of Mitzrayim today? That means the B'chol Yom V'Yom Tzarech Liyos HaYetzias Mitzrayim. Every day has to be an actual ascent and going out of Mitzrayim and headed towards the Geula. This is especially so during Krishma. Much of course, what more like the Alter Rebbe writes in Tanya, the Masha Tiknu Parshas Yetzias Mitzrayim B'Shas Krishma Davke. Why did they put Parshas Vayomer next to Kriyas Shema? We know the reason, we mentioned it also before. Why do we say Parshas Vayomer daily? Because there's a mitzvah to remember Yetzias Mitzrayim every day. But fine, why do you connect it with Kriyas Shema? What's the connection with Kriyas Shema? So he says, because the Alter Rebbe says, reading the Shema and going out of Mitzrayim in the spiritual sense, this path towards the Geula is really one concept. This idea that in Kriyas Shema has to be the avoid of going out of Mitzrayim. Gam b'Kriyas Shema shel Arvis is also in the nighttime Shema. Like the Rambam wrote in Mashakoyim, Parsha Tzitzis Gam b'Kriyas Shema shel Arvis. Why do we read the Parsha of Tzitzis of Vayomer also in Kriyas Shema of Arvis, Afal Pishain Mitzvah Tzitzis Noigas Balayla, even though the mitzvah of Tzitzis not obligatory by night? We wear Tzitzis by night, but the mitzvah of Tzitzis is really a daytime mitzvah. That's why women are potter from it, because it's a time connected mitzvah. It's because in Vayomer there's a remembrance of going on Mitzrayim, and that remembrance of going on Mitzrayim connects with the whole theme of Krishma. Therefore, whenever we recite Krishma, we recite the going on Mitzrayim. That's why Vizel Kemei says Mitzrayim Yemei Lashon Avim. That's what it says, like your days going on the land of Mitzrayim. Days in the plural. After Mitzrayim, going on Mitzrayim wasn't one day. Through remembering daily going out of Mitzrayim. That the first time when it took place in one day. In the days of that remembrance, that reliving of it, that causes that should be days going out. You're going out from land Mitzrayim. Days in the plural, that every single day, we are going out of higher and higher constraints and boundaries. Meaning, when we have to all go out of whatever constraints and boundaries we have. How much we attain today, we have to go out of those limitations tomorrow, and tomorrow we have to go out of the limitations that that we attained, or the day after tomorrow we have to go out of those limitations, and so on. So we place ourselves in a state of bursting forth, beyond measure and boundary, until we come till Ufaratsta in the ultimate way, in the true and complete redemption through Mashiach. That Mashiach is also associated with breaking forth. It says about Mashiach, Allah that the one that breaks forth will go before them. That's why Mashiach is considered the offspring and the descendant of David. Why is Mashiach the descendant of David? How do you know what's a sign about Mashiach? That he's learning Torah and he's involved in mitzvahs like David, his ancestor. And he fights the wars of Hashem like David HaMelech did. What's the connection? The David who made Peretz. David is descended from the children of Peretz that was born, from one of the two twins that was born from Yehuda and Tamar. It says about Peretz that they said about him, why they call him Peretz? Ma paratzta lecha Peretz. Why did you burst forth Peretz? Which indicates that Mashiach and David and that whole line is about Pritzes Kol Hagdolim, Amdidus V'Agbolos, breaking through all barriers, measures, and boundaries. Say there's a Geula, this order of the redemption. Shemaskal Mitzias Mitzrayim Kipshuta, that begins from the going out of Mitzrayim in the literal sense. That till we arrive through the avodah of remembrance of going on Mitzrayim daily to the complete redemption through the one who bursts forth before us, in other words, through Mashiach. These stages is not just one day after another day, but every day has these various stages of these different geulas. At the beginning of the day, prior to davening, a person is found in constraints. From the constraints and the boundaries of the body. Like it says, says, avoid the person that his soul is still in his nostril or his nostrils, because what is he worth? What is he considered? What is his value? So Chazal explained, Al tikra bameh elabama. Do not read the word as with what is he considered, but he is considered a bama. The altars that they used to build in their backyards in the times before there was a Beis Hamikdash. And a bama also means a high place. At the beginning of the day, the neshama is only in the person's nostrils, similar using the expression that it says that Hashem blew the neshama into the nostrils of Adam. But the neshama, the godly soul, does not expand an entire body. Therefore, he's considered then like this bama, like this high place, like this place that was used for serving Avodah Zarah, the powerful boundaries and constraints of the materialism of the body. Therefore, the beginning of the avodah that a person needs to do at the beginning of the day needs to be to sublimate his animal soul. He overpowers the coarseness of the body and the animal soul, and the opposite of Kedusha. Until he even affects that the body, the animal soul, should respond amen against their will. They don't want to do so, but they have to respond so, like it says about the Malachim that come Friday night. And they will assist them in serving Hashem. You use your body, you use your animal soul to daven and to learn and do mitzvahs. Even the way the body and the animal soul initially work, they're just being sublimated and subjugated. They're not really there of their own free will. until afterwards he comes to a level of transformation in the transforming of the nefesh bahamis. The first stage is that his heart is empty within him. In other words, his nefesh bahamis is like killed off. Then he gets a further stage in his Afghan transformation, that he comes to love Hashem with all your heart, with both Yetzer Tov and Yetzer Hara. Shagama Yetzer Hara Gufa Nefesh L'Tov. Also, the Yetzer Hara itself becomes transformed to good. The dugmas tshuva shlema, similar to a complete tshuva, which is known as a tshuva ma'avat tshuva, a tshuva done out of love. Is doinois nasin kizachias, that the intentional sins becomes like merits, and then the Rebbe says we drop the chaf, which indicates that it's only similar to va'ad shenasim lizachias mamish, until the tshuva out of love causes it to become completely merits those negative things that he did. So that is the process throughout the day. These two aspects, every single day, is sublimating and transforming our animal soul. This is similar to the redemption when we went out of Mitzrayim versus the future redemption. When they went out of Mitzrayim, it says that the nation ran away. Why did they run away? So the Alter Rebbe explains that if they would have asked Pharaoh to leave at that time, he was like so scared, he would have said, sure, leave for good. Why did they have to do it in a way that looked like they were running away because they said they were going for 3 days and so on? Because they were worried about the Yidden themselves. If you told the Yidden themselves that they were going to leave Mitzrayim, they weren't ready to do so because the Klippa was fully ingrained still. Because the bad in the Yidden was still in its full force, and they had to run from the bad in a way of just sublimating it. They weren't yet ready to commit total. But on the other hand, that is the Geula from Mitzrayim. Also, love in the future time, the spirit of Tumah removed from the earth. Dugmas will be similar to my heart being empty and within me. In other words, there's no clip anymore. There's no nefesh. Be a Satan is even more so. Even the bad itself becomes transformed to good. But Dugmas similar to what it says with all your heart, with both Yetzer Tov and Yetzer Hara. Where do we see that the Klippa will be transformed to good when Mashiach comes? Like it says, then I will transform the nations. A clear language that they're all called out in the name of Hashem to serve Him together as one. Also, the nations themselves will become transformed to serve Him. And foreigners will arise, and they will take your sheep out to graze. So too it will be with living animals, not just with the nations, but we'll see the transformation also in the animals that are associated with Klippa. Like it says, I will make the wild animals cease from the land. And one of the explanations in this is not that he will destroy the animals. He will make them stop from damaging and hurting others. Even though also then when Mashiach comes, is the Chayis Rois will be the existence of the wild animals. They will not damage, and even more so, not only that, these wild animals will assist and in being service of Hashem. Like it says, that a wolf will live together with the lamb, that a lion will eat hay and straw just like cattle. Which means that we were able to derive benefit from a wolf, just like we derive benefit at present from sheep in different manners. And we'll also be able to derive benefit from a lion, just like we derive at present different types of benefit from cattle. including also even the serpent, which is called by the Navi Pesen or Tzifayni. Different terms are used over there in Yeshaya Navi, where it says this pasuk about the Garzev Keves. It says Yeshamash Gadol. The Chazal say that the snake will be a great servant. The Lord not only will the serpent serve and assist in the service of Hashem, El Yisayim is even more so. The godless Shamish Gadol, even more so, his service will be in the way of greatness. He will be considered a great servant. That's how powerful the transformation and the Hisabcha will be when Mashiach comes. So now the Rebbe is going to bring a very interesting point. We can get through this today. And that is, we said that we're still going to mention when Mashiach comes, Yitzias Mitzrayim. That includes in it, and that's the source for the Gula Asidah. Yitzias Mitzrayim is Iskafia, and Mashiach's times is Ishapcha. Seemingly, Ishapcha is so much greater. And yet we know that Chassidus talks about that sublimating and subjugating Klippa has an advantage over transforming it. And that's the advantage of the Beinani over the Tzaddik, and that's the reason why Hashem has more enjoyment from Iskafia. In other Amarim, he says it's like the Chiddush of a Tzipor Amdaberes, when a bird speaks like a parrot, that's a greater enjoyment than seeing a human being speak. So that's the greatness of Iskafia, and that's why Yitzias Mitzrayim still has value and in a certain way an advantage over Ishapcha. That's the point that he's going to talk about now. After though in general transforming Klippa is in general much higher than just sublimating and subjugating Klippa, still in all there's an advantage of Iskafia over Ishapcha. Who can move him? Like it's understood from what it's written in Tanya, the Indian who is concerned is considered a servant of Hashem only when he bends and changes his nature. That's not to be found in a full tzaddik, because he has no nature, he has to change. He's already been transformed as his nafshabam. If you want the glory of Hashem to arise in all the world, that's specifically through Iskafia, not so much Ishapcha. The drawing down and the revelation of light, that's in a very exalted manner, like it's explained at length in the Hemshech of Basiligani of Yud Shvat, there's a metaphor for this from a human king. For the sake of the victory in the war, so he gives away all of his treasures. When everything is running normally, not only does the king not use these treasures for any reason, they're sealed and closed off from anyone's eye. Specifically during war, meaning the idea of Iskafia, not only does he open up all the treasures, he even more social. He expends them without any measure and boundaries, no limitations. He gives them to the soldiers to be victorious in the war. The example of this above, there's a treasure that's concealed and sealed and covered from the eyes of anyone. The level that's called no eye has seen it, God except for you. To be able to be victorious in the war with the Yitzhahara, avoid the of sublimating the Klippa. Even this treasure is given to the Yidden in a way of totally without any calculation, expending it without any limitations. And the giving of the treasure is to the simple soldiers, not to the big tzaddikim. Since they're avoided with self-sacrifice beyond the measure and boundaries of intellect, that's the level of iskafia. Therefore, the way the treasure is given to the simple soldiers, it's in a way of spreading it and spending it without any measure and bound. According to this understood, why the going out of Mitzrayim we mentioned also Mashiach comes. Though the revelations of Mashiach's times are much higher, they're wondrous in comparison to the revelations that were during the going out of Mitzrayim. But still, in all, since the drawing down of the level of the treasure is specifically for the sake of the victory in the war, when Mashiach comes, there won't be any battle with the Yetzer. Because the spirit of Tumah will remove from the land. Therefore, even when Mashiach comes, they will mention Yetzias Mitzrayim, to be able to have also the advantage of sublimating the klippa, which there's no sublimation of klippa when Mashiach comes, to draw down that treasure. Also, this drawing down of the treasure will be like everything else that's revealed when Mashiach comes in the total revelation, and your master will not cover himself anymore in garments. That's what it says, like your days going out of the land of Mitzrayim, I will show you wonders. In the future, redemption will be both advantages. There'll be both the advantage of sublimating the clip. Like that's why we're saying, like your days going out of the land of Mitzrayim, that's about sublimation of clip. And also V'amayla, and also the quality of the Safka transforming clip Aránu Niflois. I will show you wonders. Through our actions and service throughout the time of exile. Sheklolos avoided this managolos he boy from the Mesiras Nefesh L'maylam did Vagbola. The general avoiding the time of exile is no way of self-sacrifice beyond measure and boundary. Because the Mashiach in the time of Golos, especially during the heels of Mashiach, right before Mashiach's coming, there are obstacles and blockages and many, many tests. Until the test of not being embarrassed before people that are scoffers. The Afal became still in all. During the time of exile, we do not take in consideration all these obstacles. We're studying Torah, fulfilling mitzvahs without any calculations. Until even the empty ones amongst you are filled with mitzvahs like a pomegranate is filled with seeds. The Lloyd mitzvahs, not only do they fulfill mitzvahs, but they are filled with mitzvahs. Days that through this avoidam, we go out of the exile with a great wealth. And he's talking about wealth now, shall mitzvahs, a great wealth of mitzvahs. But Chush Gadol shall Torah, and a great wealth of Torah, the Gam Talmud Torah mitzvah, also the study of Torah as a mitzvah. V'adrab, even more so, Yishkula can I call a mitzvahs, it's equal to all the mitzvahs. Since having a great wealth of Torah mitzvahs adds in the merits that the Yidden have, so this also adds in the speed of what it says that Hashem will speed your goals, your ending of your goals. The way that behold, we appear with the clouds of heaven. That speedily will be the true and complete redemption. In such a way, like your days going out of the land of Mitzrayim, I will show you wonders. There will be both qualities. Since our redemption will be through our actions and service in the time of Golus, especially in our avoided during the heels of Mashiach, therefore it will be like your days going out of the land of Mitzrayim. A mile of this copy will have both the advantage of sublimating the clip, but will also have, I will show you wonders, there'll be wonders even in comparison to the wonders and signs and miracles that were when the Eden went on Mitzrayim. It'll be wonders even in comparison to the wonders that were by the splitting of the sea. Though by the splitting of the sea was very great revelations, every single one pointed with his finger and said, "This is my God, and I will glorify him." Till a maidservant was able to see at the sea what even great prophets didn't see. In the Kolza Hayala Yam, this was all on the sea. Malchus. The Yam, Chassidus says, is the level of Malchus. So all they saw is via the filter of Malchus. Pesach, similar to the revelation of going out of Mitzrayim before the splitting of the sea. That was on the entranceway, that we said the entranceway shows on Malchus because the entranceway between Atzilus and Biyah. Another distinction between then and Mashiach's times was that the revelation of the splitting of the sea was only temporary. Because the revelation was then from the perspective of above. But down below was not yet a vessel for it. In general, it's the idea of sublimating the klippa and not transforming it. Similar to going on Mitzrayim, that was in the manner that the nation ran away. Since it didn't come because of the avoided down here below, so therefore the bad was still in them, therefore they had to run away, like we said before. On the lost love and Neflois, but when Mashiach comes, I will show you wonders, Neflois, Gamberach, and Neflois, wonders even comparable to the wonders that was when they went on Mitzrayim, the splitting of the sea. The revelation will be also without any garment, and also from the perspective of down below. Along with it will also be the advantage of like your days going out of the land of Mitzrayim. Speedily nowadays, Mamish, Mashiach Tzedkenu, and the coming of Mashiach Tzedkenu.